always something. Oh my gosh. All right, y'all. Let's get ready to learn. Let's get ready to learn. All right. I want to make sure everybody can hear me. All right. Uh, maybe just turn on a little bit of light. See if I can get some light in here. Like, love. Let me know that you're live. Let me know that you're listening live. I have my YouTube up, and then I have over here Substack audio only. But I won't be before y'all long. We're just going to talk about some generations and buyer behavior and all the good stuff. And then we have a little bit of housekeeping to do first. Want to make sure I get out of all these windows because I have so many windows. I don't have a lot of windows up, but I do have several. Let me go ahead and let me turn on a little bit of light. Hey, Substack, welcome, welcome. Come on in, y'all. Come on in. Because the light, I want y'all to be able to see me, for goodness sake. All right, I'm coming. I'm coming. All right, y'all. So I'm back. Hello, hello. I hope you all have your notebooks ready to go so that you can take some copious notes and get yourself together. To get yourself together, I know that it has been a very crazy few weeks with the world and the shifting. And like I said, my whole thing was helping us to prepare for these times. Okay, to help us prepare for these times because we knew these times were coming. Okay, this was not anything that just sprung up on us. We've been in it, right? I could not get a straw. Anyway, so welcome YouTube, welcome Substack. I'm Coach Jay. People call me Coach Jay. I've been coaching for a very long time. Just to give you all a little bit snippet about me, I am a leadership content coach and strategist that works with service providers to help them with positioning their content structure so that they can grow a global audience of buyers and nurturing communities, monetize our content. Because I really believe that content is one of the biggest ways where we have control over what we say, we have control of what we put out. For a very long time, we have relied on big, huge corporations to give us what they wanted us to know, what they wanted us to see. And now we are in a time where creators like you and myself actually have a chance to put goodness out in the world. We just have to be diligent enough to understand the strategies thereof in order to make that happen. And also with these platforms, we do have an opportunity as well to monetize and create cash for ourselves per the value of what we're putting out there. And it also depends on who you're serving, who you are talking to, who you want to work with, because all of those pieces matter. Okay. I have been coaching people into millionaires. I have coached teams. I have coached large organization leaders. I have coached small business owners, women primarily, because I've been servicing women for the longest. Why women? Because I'm a woman and I know us. We are emotionally here, there, and everywhere. But at the same time, we can put some structure to some things. We can process things out. We can shift things. We can speak into people's lives, but we just need someone to support us and to give us structure in our own work, right? To structure in our own work. So now we've went through the AI thing, right? We went through the AI hype Now we're in what's called the post labor era. We're going into that. And this is the hard part. And this is kind of what I talked about years ago. If you have been following me for a while, I've been on my other Facebook page. I let go of 24,000 followers across 4 platforms and started all the way over again because I knew it was hard to do. Was it an ego death? Yes, I had to go through a little bit of ego death because, when you grow followers and stuff like that, and I'm talking about to the point of what I had like 17,000 followers on TikTok, 8,000 followers on Facebook, went all the way down to zero, straight up, right? And for me, it was all about cleansing the energy in my business and understanding where we were going because a lot of the people that were built around that time was for an old era that no longer exists. And this is why you have to be very bold. You have to be very intentional about what you do. You cannot be emotional. And I really wrestled with that for a very long time. But I decided to just it was no better time than now to just do it. And so rather than hang on and be emotionally here, there, and everywhere, what I did was to shift my energy into new territory. And I'm so glad I did because I get to see and I get to be conscious now because many times when we're building businesses, we go up so fast that we don't even know how we got there. Like it's almost like, how in the world did I build this? How did yes, I know I built and I've worked hard and all these kind of things, but what was my framework? What was my blueprint? What was my process? Right. And if you don't have a conscientious understanding of what you are building and how to build it, you won't, you will feel very, very you feel that lack of confidence to build again. So if you have a blueprint and you know what you're doing, all you have to do is understand that this time you're going to pay attention to how you're building it, because how you build it is how you sustain it. Because how you build things, you can not only sustain it, but anytime something goes awry, you can always do it again. You can start over at any time because you already know how to do it and because you have experience. It's easier to build something based on experience than to build it on spontaneity and guessing, right? So you get a chance to do that. And so I started all the way over on Substack. Substack is my core platform. And I promote Substack every single day. My YouTube is supplement, right? It's not my main platform, but it's a supplement because I monetize on here. I get a chance to also share here, but then we repurpose this content for our other main platforms, such as your Facebook, such as TikTok, etc., and Substack, and Substack. So today we are going to focus on buyers and generations of buyers, the characteristics thereof. And of course, yeah, like Jay, I could have totally like looked this up on ChatGPT or whatever, whatever. But you didn't, and it's okay because you get to listen to me, and then also you get a chance to hear my point of view on what you should do about these different generations. Because as business owners, you need the bite-sized amount so you can take action immediately. Okay. Also, too, if you just insert quick, shameless plug, we are almost to what is this, October 31st. If you would like to join our next masterclass, I'm getting ready to actually announce a masterclass for our pay community, the Soul Stackers on Substack, which is $19 a month. But right now, we have a special going on, 15% off the monthly fee, and basically, you get to join us for our next masterclass, and it's going to be applicable information that you can apply immediately. And I'm going to actually announce that this week for our soul stackers, which I'm really excited about. So that's happening. So if you want to get in, hop in. You better get your booty on in there because it's going to be awesome. Um, okay, so we're going to go ahead and just go straight into um the generations, right? And I want to start off by saying this. And I just actually posted about this on my TikTok about algorithmic distribution. And this really feeds into the um the understanding that most of these platforms are almost undergoing like a TikTokification process. And I'm making up a word here. Y'all let me know if you can hear me on the live. Give me some hearts if you can hear me. Um, Algorithmic distribution, right? So a lot of these platforms are shifting and changing a lot. Okay. And I know this is really difficult for a lot of people that have been on platforms for a very long time, and change is always hard. Okay, change is always hard and it's always difficult, but you got to remember that these are businesses. These are also companies, these are also businesses. When we're in capitalism, it is what it is. Okay, it is what it is. And either we have to adjust and get over it, or we're just gonna be mad all day. And we really don't have time to be mad because you need to make some money and you need to make a difference in people's lives. You need to make a great impact, etc. Okay. So algorithmic distribution, what it actually means is that it's the distribution by the recommender feed, discovery feeds, um, for you pages, right? And I know we don't like to hear that because we like our own little bubble, we like our own little community. But how can you grow? How can you expand if you don't adjust? Right? So every platform now has like an AI. Like it's basically, that's what an algorithm really is kind of AI too. It decides who should see a post based on predicted interest. So this is, I told you a long time ago, Gary V coined this too. He said, we're not in social media anymore. We're in interest media. I'm going to go to Substack real quick. This is why Substack has two different feeds now: social feeds, and then also the newsletter feeds, right? So, people, you can be discovered on Substack for the first time. You could actually let go of all other social media platforms and focus just on Substack. And you will get people that you never known before that know the platform, that are used to the platform, that are used to reading longer forms of content to actually follow you and want to subscribe to your newsletter if your content is that good. So you have to start thinking about, like, every time you post, or not every time you post, but 80% of your posts should be for that algorithmic distribution piece. Is everybody with me? Like, even with YouTube has shorts, but you can also find videos that you've never seen before based on your interests, videos that are like the ones that you have watched, that YouTube will recommend to you on your feed, on your, what is that, discovery page, or recommended, and you'll see recommended channels. And you're like, who is this? Like, and you know what? And this is the part where you have to choose. You have to choose who you're going to follow. You can choose what you want to watch. So I had said that the algorithm is always going to give you info. They're always going to give you what you want to see, even if you don't want to see it, because you're looking at it. If you say, I don't want to see this, why they keep showing me this, but you're sitting there for 2 minutes watching it, the algorithm don't know that you don't want to watch it, because you're showing it that you're watching it. And it's showing that even if it's making your head shake and you're like, I can't believe people are doing this, and why are they talking about this? It's so stupid. Like, why are these women talking about this? Why are men talking like this? Why are they showing this? Why are they dancing like this? Why are they well, you're sitting there watching it, so the algorithm is immediately, it doesn't know. It doesn't know that you don't like it, because it can't read emotion. It reads action. It reads how long you on there. So you got TikTok for you, YouTube, homepage and shorts. You got Instagram Explore and the Reels page, right? You got Threads that has the For You pages. Now they have feeds. Facebook is now doing recommended pages. You're seeing that now. But what does this have to do with generations? It has a lot to do with it, because the last 5 to 6 years has really shown where people's head is. And then also, because of where we are in the world, in this economic shift, people are now starting to pay attention to the next generation of buyers, which is your alphas and your younger Gen Zs. And this is why I'm telling people that while we're so focused on now and trying to get this money now, I need you to start thinking about your next generation of buyers. Like, I'm seeing people, companies already talking about the alpha generation. They're already studying these babies. These babies don't want to even have a job. Like, they're not even close to the workforce. They're not close. But the companies are already studying them. And so while you're focusing on now and what people are doing, these companies are already being proactive in studying generations that are even coming up and knowing what they are most likely going to be interested in. So let's just start with the obvious. Let's start with who's already here. Okay. Let's start with who's already here. The boomers, right? So your boomers, and this is roughly, right? We're looking at what 1946-ish to 1964. These are your legacy builders. Their buyer behavior and kind of a strategy in so many ways. Now we know that the boomers, because my parents are late boomers. This generation, we already know, holds a massive share of wealth. Okay. This is the great wealth transfer. That's also happening at the same time. They're focused on retirement, health, grandchildren, leaving a legacy, or just chilling. Okay. Some of them might have even started to create content as well. But the path to purchase traditional media still holds weight for them. They're still watching TV, they're still listening to the radio. Now, some of them have gotten technologically a little savvy. They're now hooking their phone up to the Bluetooth, but they are the ones that got most of the money. And they respond very well to in-person experiences. They don't mind researching things online, but they do prefer to be in the store. They do prefer to order things. They do prefer that. Now, emotional drivers, um, they're big on trust, obviously. They're big on quality. They're big on experiences, and they are very loyal to brands that they've known for decades. Okay, they value personal service and are investing in their health, their travel, they're getting up and going. They're big on family events and family get-togethers. They're the last generation really that are focused on that. Okay, we still have silent generation. Like my grandmother is still here, that's on the lower side of the silent generation, but I'm talking about the majority. We're talking about boomers right now. Okay. um with boomers, you really need to think about clearer calls to action. Most of them will pay in full, right? They will pay in full. They don't mind paying in full. And they're a little bit, and this is not a dig to anybody who is a boomer, okay? So just calm down. But they move a little slower. And when I say a little slower, they need to read things a little bit thoroughly, which is nothing wrong with that, right? They are a little bit, they want more understanding. They are probably the ones that have been programmed the deepest when it comes down to indoctrination, you know, institutionalized as far as the religion and all these other things. They have the most, because they were the ones that were really the turning point of that era into and really the silent generation molded the boomers, right? It was a whole lot of them that were born. A lot of them, it wasn't anything to have, I don't know how many siblings, right? So they grew up kind of understanding order in so many ways. They understood structure. They understood working hard. They were ones to go out and do a lot of physical labor, go out there and get the pigs and the chickens and the farms and all this kind of stuff. They were the ones that understood that. So this is why they are big on order. Okay, everybody with me? So when it comes down to um, the digital space, they're mostly on Facebook. Now I know that they're mostly on Facebook. So you got to think about where they are. Those heavy hitters are usually on Facebook. Okay. Usually. I didn't say that they were not. They're not on other places. They're on TikTok too, but they're on your Facebook Reels. They love Facebook Reels, honey. They will tear up Facebook Reel. But I'm just telling you, that's kind of the space where they are. And y'all are more than welcome to, chime in the comments. Let me know what you think. I would love to know what your thoughts are regarding that. I'm moving on to good old Gen X, good old X. Now I am a what they call it exennial, right on the cusp, but I consider myself a millennial because I was born in '83. But let me go back to X. X, these are your 1965 to 1980. Okay, now they call and this is no dig to anybody that identify themselves as Gen X. Okay, I'm just telling you what the data is given. They are considered the forgotten middle child. Okay, but they still have stability. They have stability. I would give it up to Gen X. They were the ones who they're entering their peak era of being buyers. They are usually, okay, usually, and you got to remember, I'm not talking about the people in your family. I'm not talking about the people that you work with. I'm talking about as a collective. Okay. So you got to remember there are more Gen X people other than the people that you know in your family or your cousins and them that saying, well, my folks don't like, okay, but we're talking about all of them, not just talking about your people. Okay. So they are financially established. Collectively, they're more independent. And this is the kicker right here. They're largely distrustful of traditional marketing. Okay. Path to purchase, they are heavy users they love Amazon, they love a Facebook marketplace, they love to Google things, they value peer recommendations, but from real friends, not really influencers. Um, they they're probably the ones that actually enjoy email marketing. So when y'all say things like email marketing is dead, I Gen X are really good about email marketing. They will open up their emails. They're okay with that. They love the group texts. They love that. They still watch traditional TV and they also enjoy streaming services. Kendra said yes, they really enjoy emails. Yes, Generation X collectively. I didn't say the friend that you know. I'm talking about collectively. They are usually still opening up their emails. Now, if you don't like your emails, I'm not saying that well, I'm an ex. I don't like emails. You got to remember, we're not talking about just you, because I have to always cover these bases. We got to start thinking. Okay. Um. Now, your emotional drivers when it comes down to buyership, right? They love quality as well. They really want practicality and no nonsense. Go straight to the point. They're very to the point. They're not impressed by hype. How can I use this and how can I use this now? How can I want something that works really well and that's going to last, okay? They value their time and their privacy. They are also a generation. Now, I would have to split up X in between because you have the lower X or not the lower X. When I say lower, I'm talking about the younger Gen X versus the older Gen X. The younger Gen X are a lot more vibrant, right? They love going out, they love enjoying and having a good time. They still love classic things. They love makeup. They love getting their hair done. They still read books. They're very into coming together and going to brunch. They're still like that, but they also value their privacy. They're very private. Okay, they love privacy time. So books, things that gives them that solitude if they want it. They love these types of things. They're not inherently loyal. I want to make sure this is very crystal clear. Loyalty is earned through they value respect. They're very respect oriented. Okay. They're very big on customer service. They're very big on consistency. When they're looking for a large purchase, they are listening to you, they're researching you, they wanna make sure that you're who you say you are, they wanna make sure that what you say actually aligns with everything else. They're very particular about things, and I just wanna make sure that y'all understand that. So, X is very like, they will follow you for a while, and then they will make a choice based on logic. They're not emotional based, buyers collectively. They use factual language. Um, they're big on warranties. They're big on they wanna see real world results. They want to see real world results, from people that's like them. They're big on relatability, but they understand respect as well. They are big on respecting their time. They are big on respecting their inbox. They don't like a whole lot of spam. They don't like all well, nobody likes spam, but they don't do that type of thing. So, like if you do newsletters or emails and stuff like that, and you have a really good where it's easy to follow, they love those. Don't try to be cool with them. Speak to them as the intelligent, experienced adults that they are. Do not treat them like they're children. Okay. Do not treat Gen X like they're kids because they're not. Now they may unravel online, but but again, we're talking about collectively, right? And in my humble opinion, your Xers, if they are online and they're creating content, many of them are giving wisdom, legacy based content. Like they're like trying to tell the younger generation what they need to do, what some of the things they need to be in, what are some things and advice that they would give. So we're seeing more Xers get online and create content that is based on advice, life advice. Just because we have a generation and millennials about to wear us out, okay? Because you really are. I'm about to whoop y'all real good on this one. Xers, Xers, yes. Are they perfect? No, they're not perfect. They're definitely not perfect. They're long from perfect, but they are the generation where I would say structure. Mostly their structure. They're the ones like clean up. They're the ones that um you know they're all about order. And again, indoctrination as well, right? They're very indoctrinated, but they did not have the emotional support. This is why they're so rigid because a lot of them did not grow up with the emotional support. Okay, so they had to figure it out. They were the children that were out all day and their parents was in the house chilling or whatever or doing whatever they were doing. Sometimes gone all day, all weekend partying, and the children were at Meemaw's house or whoever, and they were the ones that were outside all day and did not come in until the streetlights came on. So they didn't have time really to talk about their feelings like millennials want to do. So here comes the millennials. Okay. So that's the buyer behavior, how to kind of move with them. Email marketing is really good for them. Um, Having content that is based on factual language, very straightforward with them. Yes. Okay. So here we go with the millennials. And as a millennial myself, yes, we got some good points, but we have some very interesting points. Okay. So, the millennials, you're looking at your 81 to 96. Okay. We're the backbone. We're in our 30s and 40s right now, mostly. We're in our 30s and 40s. And, but we're time poor. We are the most financially pressured. Now, this is data, right? We are the most financially pressured. This is true. Because we have the most debt out of all generations. We were the generation, the first generation outside of women being able to have our own money, our own this and our own that. And there was a price to pay. The consequence was women, were able to get up and about and create their own way, make their own decisions, be a little bit more independent. We could choose who we wanted to marry. We all these different things. Men, they have the opportunity to just kind of be all they could be. And then technology also became very widespread. This is where millennials kind of shook the tree. We challenged the norms, which is why a lot of people are going through deconstruction, because we were heavily indoctrinated until technology showed us that there were different ways. Okay. So path to purchase for us is more hybrid, right? We discover brands on your Instagram, your Facebooks, but we also look at reviews. We also look at Amazon. We also read Google reviews and then targeted search. We're looking also at convenience. That's big for us. We like convenience. Meal kits, Amazon, because we don't have a lot of time, because we're time poor. We're working. We have the kids. We have this. We're putting our kids in different things. And then we're also working. And then we're getting up. And then we're healing. And then we're doing we have all these things going on. So we're living 16 different lives all in one. Okay. We are big on convenience. We're big on wellness. We're big on treating yourself. We're big on, self-care, time saving, and we're trying to enhance our own life. We're deeply concerned about our mental and our physical wellness, okay, which is all good things, right? But we have to think about millennials in terms of the marketing, right? So anytime that you can market on how you can help them save time, how you can help them with structure. That's another thing. Millennials are horrible at structuring. We're not good at structuring stuff. We're really not. We're not good at managing our time because, again, we're time poor. And we're also a generation that's trying to break a lot of things, break a lot of traditions, because our previous generation did not understand emotional stability and emotional management. And when I say emotional management, I'm talking about being able to hold space, right? Because remember, Generation X was always outside. They was always are y'all here with me? Y'all understand? They were always outside. So they got a lot of sunlight. The older millennials, we were outside too. Because I remember we used to play, we used to go to the can lane and everything. We used to go, we used to be outside. The younger generation, not as much, right? So we didn't have a lot of the emotional support from our parents because our parents didn't understand that either. That's just what it was. And so now you have a nostalgic generation because of the a lot of the times it's a lot of regret. It's a lot of I wish that we could do this again. I wish that we could have this again and that. So nostalgia, they like millennials are infatuated with nostalgia, infatuated with it. Um, Big key audience for direct to consumer. Like they love being the cool parent. Millennials, we love being a cool parent. We love being the conscious consumer. If we're gonna buy things, is it, black owned? Is it this? Is it, LGBTQ? Is it to a purpose? Is this helping people in, the third world countries? Is it helping this effort? We like to know these things because we tend to support people if it's their first time. We are a compassionate base. So we tend to support people that seem like, oh my gosh, like it feels like, this is our first business and I really want to help this person. You know what I mean? That is we're very compassionate consumers. They will pay more for a product if it's going to help them get ahead. If it's going to help them and if it's ethically made, they will pay more. They also were big responders to Instagram and Facebook ads. They were. Um, Influencer marketing and relatable experts. I'm going to be honest with you. Millennials, we do follow influencers pretty closely. I mean, even if we're starting to come out of it, we don't mind a good influence. If an influencer says, this is my favorite perfume, this is what, and we immediately, girl, I already won about it. I already got it in my cart. Already, girl, and I already purchased it. So it's like this person says this and they have the life, and we're very lifestyle oriented too. So it could be someone that we see their life and it's like, oh my gosh, this is what I was meant for. Rightfully so, because millennials grew up with tech. We grew up being able to go to different places and travel, get degrees or whatever, whatever, whatever. We were able to be well to do, and we were the ones on the go. And I think it was almost a little low key escapism, but that's okay because it is what it is. But we are heavily influenced by influencers as well in so many ways. Like if somebody that we really like and we're going to buy from them because we like them. And that's okay in some regards, but it also kind of bites you in the butt if you're not careful, because sometimes we will buy things based on likability and not respectability. That's our issue. And so we'll buy things just to think that we're supporting people, but you need to buy it for yourself. You need to use what you're buying, right? So finance gurus, big, 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 home organizers, practical lifestyle gurus, organizational gurus, those people that have this luxury lifestyle, we're big on that. That's just, I mean, these are facts. Okay. Um, let's see here. So everybody good at that. Everybody good with that. So the content that you're making pretty much with them is that you're making content based on order. You're giving them pretty, they like millennials like pretty. Like if you're giving them a pretty planner, if you're giving them um branded things. They like branded things, things that look nice. Does that make sense? And these just facts. It's just we like the look. We're look oriented. Mm-hmm. But we tend to buy things that make us feel better. Okay. We like customizable things. We like things that we can put our name on it and we feel to see. And this is another thing about millennials. We like personalized things. We like, if you're going to send us an email or if you're going to shout us out or whatever, we like names. We like being noticed. Okay. Now, to the Gen Zs. Oof, that's the rough crowd right there. That's we're going to the rough babies. We're going to the 1997 to 2012. That's my kid. That's my child generation, and this is just facts, right? So Generation Z is pretty much raised by your millennials and your younger Xers. Okay, I love me some Gen Zs. Y'all are bold. My kid, and it just makes me laugh at how quirky and how funny y'all are to me. Y'all are so hilarious. But Gen Z, this is the thing. Y'all are in the workforce, right? Y'all are in business. Y'all are killing it in business. But this is the part that this is why millennials and older, y'all need to start paying attention, because your Gen Zs are the ones that are up to bat now. So the cohort is now firmly in adulthood. Gen Z is in adulthood and they're entering their prime and in their spending years. They are literally the architects of what our current digital culture looks like right now. Okay. These are the Vine, Musically, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels. You see how I'm saying that? YouTube Shorts, Facebook Reels, For You pages. Okay. These are the babies that had to go through the COVID and being inside, and while the world was sick and the world was going through a transition, they were the ones, the Zoom babies. That's when business was booming for most people, but they were the generation that had to learn online for a year, and everybody went through it together. That is something that Gen Z will always really, really have, even though everybody else will have their global moments too. But Gen Z learned, everybody was in school at the same time. And this is all over the world. This is not just America. This is not just the West. This was going on in the East as well. People were at home, online at school for the most part. Okay. However, what is their path to purchase? Their path to purchase, discovery 100%. These are the algorithmic distribution era that we're talking about now. As you will notice online that most social media apps are shifting the way that they are positioning their content. It's not like it used to be. It's not about followers, it's not about friends, it's not about connections, it's not about network, it's not about nurturing. It's not, now everything is centered across discovery, 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 discovery. For you page. I don't even see so and so's content anymore. I don't even see this person because they're on your other tab. And that's a tab you have to intentionally go to because everything now is focused on discovery. They're your TikTok shop babies. They're your Instagram Reels babies. They research heavily on peer reviews and they don't care who you are. You can be famous, you can be influential, you can have a luxury lifestyle. Gen Z is going to be like, I don't care about all that. How does it smell? I don't care about all that. What does it do? Like, I like you, I think you're cute or whatever, but I don't like the way you said that. In other words, you are not going to impress Gen Z. 1 second, Substack. Hold on. Hold on. Can y'all hear me? I'm sorry, I went out a little bit. YouTube, y'all there? I'm so sorry about that. My daughter was calling me. She okay, she was saying okay. Because I said I'm live and I forgot to put my phone on D&D so she wouldn't. Because usually I tell her, and I forgot to tell her before I went live. But anyway, so Gen Z, like, they don't care. They do not care. It does not phase them that, you got this amazing business or this amazing. They do not care about that. They care about, does it work? What can I use it for? And again, we're not talking about your children per se. Okay, we're not talking about your nieces and nephews. We're literally talking about the collective. Okay. They research heavily on peer reviews. They look on Reddit, video deep dives. They go through haul videos. They love to do the unboxing. They love the unboxing videos. Emotional drivers, they're big on authenticity. And this is not a dig to people. This is why you see a lot of content creators that there's not a lot of dressing up, right? There's not a lot of um there's not a lot of fancy lifestyle. They don't do all of that, right? It's really just they value, quote unquote, and I'm putting this in quotes, realness. They value transparency. They want to know, does anybody feel the same way I do? Like, they don't really, they want to see you take stands on social issues, but they're big on narcissism. They're big on understanding trauma. They're big on trying to understand why the world is the way it is and why they have a hard time respecting X, Y, and Z. They really have a hard time with that. They also have a hard time with emotional stabilization as well. And this is just these are this is not my feelings because I just went in on millennials. So I don't want Gen Z to feel like, well, that's not nice. Well, this is what I'm saying. And this is why Gen Z, there's two spokes to them. The ones one of the things about them, they're very fiery. They are very quick to implement. They're very impulsive. They will implement things quick. They will, if you tell them like just do this, you got this. They will go and do it. There's not a lot of overthinking with Gen Z. Like Gen Z, if you tell them, you need to contact so and so, now they hard headed. They hard headed now. They stubborn. But most of the times, if they respect you, they gonna do it. Ain't got nothing to do with ain't got to do with, oh my gosh, she's such a no, it's like if I respect you, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna listen to you. They also are the generation, they you have to earn their trust. And they will publicly cancel you. Y'all hear me? They will publicly all together seem like they will cancel you and don't care how you feel about it. They publicly complain. These are truths, okay? They like the ownership piece, but because they are a generation that are not content. I mean, no, that's not what I'm trying to say. They're not commitment heavy. Gen Z is not commitment heavy. Millennials, we don't mind being committed. We don't mind being committed. We will pay for commitment. We will pay high ticket. We will pay to be in spaces where there's community, there's a high value community. But Gen Z are very commitment. They're not commitment based. This is why shorter cohorts or like lower cost memberships do well for them. But they will make it known that they don't like something. And I'm talking about they don't mind, okay? They don't mind. But you will see more subscription based things for them. You will see more membership things, based things for them. Um, they are kind of the core drivers. They don't mind thrifting, they don't mind reselling, they don't mind doing those things. But they also honor community based. Okay, so they may not be commitment based, but they are community based. They like communities. They're not email focused. So email marketing is a challenge for them because a lot of them sit and read things for long periods of times. Hence, why we have a lot of these shorter forms of content and shorter 30-second, 10-second, 1 minute, maybe a minute and 30. And if they really honor and respect what you say, they will sit and watch a 10-minute video about you. They have to respect what you say. That you have to hook them in that first 2 to 3 seconds. If not, you didn't lost them. You have officially lost them. So you have to realize who you're talking to with Gen Z. Okay. They don't mind Discord. They don't mind engaged Instagram communities. They don't mind being in brand ambassadors, but they want you to show your flaws. They want you to be transparent. They want you to show your process. They're very process driven, which is why even when you start listening to me on my content, I talk about processes a lot. And I talk about values. They like sharing your information, like they share your videos, they like sharing your posts, but a lot of them don't like. They don't do a whole lot of liking. So that's another ego death y'all are gonna have to go through because a lot of like millennials, we don't mind pressing live, we don't mind pressing hard, so we don't mind doing that because we were the generation that kind of started, even though we didn't start it personally. Obviously, Mark Zuckerberg, started Facebook, but but we were the generation we didn't mind loving your posts. We didn't mind, commenting and saying how we feel about your content, right? Z's are ones who will, they're very unserious in the comments, but they will watch. A lot of them may not like it, but they will save your content to watch later, especially if it's something that they feel that is going to help them on a day-to-day basis. They're very much like, okay, I need to watch this again. I need to watch this again and get it in me. Especially if you're giving them something that they want, they're learning. And while they learning, why is this? Because a lot of Gen Z did not get what they needed from their millennial parents or from their Gen X parents. They are the digital babies. Thank you, Kendra. She said, that's what I do with a lot of your posts. I try my best to not only serve the generations that I'm a part of and older, but I always have to acknowledge and understand that Gen Z and alphas are coming up. So the content that we create is not just for the buyer today, it's also for the buyer tomorrow. It's the buyer next year. It's the buyer because betas are coming in. The generation beta, they're on their way in. Okay, they're the next cohort to come up. So with Z, you have to understand if it makes sense, they're going to rock with you and they're going to listen and they're going to watch. They may not like it, they may not love it, they may not engage with it like that, but rest assured they're going to save it. They're going to put it in something. They're going to take the link and put it in something. They're going to watch it later. Even if you have a playlist, they love playlists and they like videos. They like videos. So I'm gonna even go as far as to say this, and I'm going to alpha. Gen Z also honors the respectable or the respectful authority, not necessarily being a mother, like a mother to them, or an aunt to them, or a father to them, but someone they can look up to with respect. It's almost comparable to going to the military. Right, going to the military, you listen to your sergeant, or it's almost, I wouldn't even say military, it's probably too extreme, but if you are in school and there is a teacher that they respect, but not necessarily trying to be their friend, they honor content creators that have and hold authority and they respect, and you're not trying to be cool with them. Like you're not trying to be friends. Millennials is it's the auntie energy. They love the auntie energy. Z's are more like, tell me, and if you exhibit yourself, you display yourself as an authority, we're going to respect it. Because they don't have to like you. That's one of the things, they do not have to like you. So if you're going to market to the Gen Z, you need to be prepared to understand you got to stand as authority. But also make them make them feel seen and heard. That's what I'm trying to say. Um, so that's Z's. I know I wore them out a little bit because they are the next generation up. Alpha. These are purely digital natives. Social consciousness, collaborative family dynamics. These are your babies that's going to come up, and their purchasing power, and their babies, y'all. Their purchasing power is already estimated at $1 trillion in household spending. Gen Z are going to be the wealth catalyst, but they're going to do business completely different. They're going to be your solopreneurs. They're going to be like the gamers. They're going to be very creative. Your Gen Alphas are going to have the biggest spending power ever in our modern history. 1 trillion. Millennials, the reason why I'm emphasizing you is because you're still going to be around. You're just going to be, you're just going to be older. But your younger Gen Zs and alphas are going to be the ones that's going to bring home the dough. They're going to bring in the dough. They're going to bring in the dough because they're going to be the ones who understand the digital space 110%. They're gonna see way more in their generation than we ever have. In fact, this is the generation there's gonna be a likelihood that a lot of them are gonna marry robots and date robots. This is what I'm saying. This get deeper. And I'm talking about the lower, the younger ones. And even going into betas. Betas are really gonna have like relationships and full blown out marriages with robots in our life. And we're gonna see like millennials will be in our great grand era. We're gonna see this in real time. We're gonna see it. And we're gonna think it's absolutely bat crazy, and they're gonna think that we're cuckoo because we think it's crazy, but that's just what it's gonna look like. So path to purchase, YouTube and TikTok are gonna there are the discovery engines, gaming platforms, so things like your Roblox and your Minecrafts and all of that are your new shopping malls. There's going to be a lot of virtual reality things happening. It's going to be more mainstream, even though yes, you're probably saying, "Well, Jade, is going on already. It's going on already. It's happening already." I know it's happening already, but it's not as mainstream. It's going to become mainstream. It's not going to. It's going to be to the point it's normal. Just like we go outside, just like we get on a computer. Virtual reality will be their thing. Mhm. She said, Gen Alpha just got to middle school. They just got to middle school. Okay. Um, ooh, they trust norm influencers, so very relatable creators. So and friends. More than just traditional celebrities and ads. So celebrity, this is why Hollywood is phasing out. This is why Nickelodeon is moving everything over to YouTube monetization. This is why a lot of these big studios are freaking out because they know that the Gen Alphas are not studying TV. They're not worried about these things. They are in the phones. While Gen X and boomers are like, what the heck? Why are they in their phone all day? Why are they in their phone all day? Gen Alpha came in on the phone. Okay. They know how to swipe at 1 years old. I got two nieces and nephews that have just turned two. And it's amazing to me how they can get the phone and they know exactly what to do. They know how to put the code in. And they just turned two, barely walking, both of them in pull ups. My niece can talk. She can talk her ear off, talk your ear off. My nephew is still, making his words, getting his words through. But baby, they know how to get in their phone. Do you hear me? It is hilarious. Okay, so emotional drivers for them, they like the cool aspect. They're big on fun and interactiveness. They're going to be big on sustainability and inclusivity, which is going to be interesting in turn of events, considering all the things that's going on. But a mix of impulse buying. They're going to be big on impulse buying. They're going to be big on one-click purchases, and that's what Gen Z does. Gen Z is big on one click. They're very like just give me what I want and let me go on. Um, but to create in their spaces, prioritizing video content. I know this is why there's so much like AI video stuff going on because you got your millennials, you got your Gen Zs. We're creating the content, we're doing the videos and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of us are also, especially millennials, are going through emotional turbulence at the same time. So it's affecting the way that we show up online and on video. But this is why you got Sora too. You have all these different AI type of platforms and tools to help you with creating contents for the these upcoming generations. But the thing is, Gen Alpha, they're not going to know who is who. Like they're the generation is raised up. Gen Z either, like the younger Gen Zs, of course. But Gen Alpha is really going to be the generation. They ain't gonna know what's real and what's not on TV because everything will be digital. Everything will be like virtual reality. They're going to see these things. They're not going to know if it's human or not. Creating content that they can use to make cases, to their parents as well. Um, And then also too, when you create content, make sure that you're creating content based on them, um, Intelligence. They're big on intelligence. Purpose over prestige. They're going to be big on helping others. They're going to be big on authenticity as well. But they're going to be your empathetic generation. They're going to be they're actually the generation that is the most racially diverse generation out of all of them. They're going to be it's a lot of mixtures, a lot of colors, a lot of all mixed in. Their average screen time, y'all need to write this down. Average screen time is 4 hours and 45 minutes a day for Gen Alpha. Did y'all know that? Their primary platform right now is YouTube. Their secondary platform is TikTok. They love a Roblox. They even though they um heavily use technology, most value unplugging and outdoor play. They love going now that I can say that for sure, even looking at my own family. I know I said this is for everybody. Um they they will be on the phone, but then when they want to go outside, they want to go outside. They love being outside. And I think that's so the cutest thing ever. But they will sit, everybody will be on their phones and tablets. And then it's like, okay, let's go outside. And everybody will put their tablets down at the same time and they will put their shoes on and go and run outside. And I have 8 nieces and nephews, and it's just absolutely intriguing to see it. But they're big on diversity, they're big on identity fluidity. They're they're all about respecting pronouns. They're all about respecting differences in one another, which I love. Um, Climate, they're going to be big on climate change. They're going to be big on equality and fairness. They will believe Generation Alpha is set up to believe that their generation will fix what adults have not. So they will be the ones that feel like that they're going to change things. Respect is earned, not assumed, just kind of like Gen Z. Um, but their projected spending power and the impact that they're going to bring is going to be double by 2030. Okay. So, but like I said, YouTube, huge, huge. Millennials, this I'm going to insert here. I'm going to insert here that digital trusts, like trust planning, digital planning, retirement, like this is why I told y'all a long time ago, get your YouTube channels up and going, because if you can get monetized, you can put all of these pieces in a trust, and that YouTube channel, your YouTube shorts are going to be paying you over time. This is right now, and I want to, like, millennials and Xers, if y'all are listening, because we're in our legacy era. Like if you're in your 30s, 5 plus, I wouldn't even say 35 plus, but really 40 plus, really 40 plus. If you're in your 40 plus era, but 35, I'm gonna count y'all too, because by default, y'all are going into that. You need to be doing whatever it takes. Yes, enjoy your life. Yes, get your rest and all that good stuff. But I'm gonna need for you to put the pedal to the metal when it comes down to this content. Push out the content, because your monetized platforms, if you're not monetized on at least one platform by the end of the year, you need to make that a part of your strategic goals for 2026. You need to have that on your priority list, because you need a monetized platform. You need to be monetized on something. I don't care if it's Facebook. I don't care if it's YouTube. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Snapchat. I don't care. And you ain't got to just pick one and go all in and monetize that bad boy, because that can be a part of your trust. Digital real estate is a thing where you own. This is why we're building up Substack so much, because Substack can go in its own thing. Is everybody with me? I mean, I can hire writers. to keep digitally her media going. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Kendra says, starting next week, I'm aiming to post 20 times a day on my platforms. That's all I'm saying. Exactly. Now, you may think that 20 times, 40 times, whatever, how many times a day is, oh my gosh, there's so much. If you have a system, if you have a system that is doing this for you, like I'm sitting right here going live on YouTube, right? I'm still getting paid through YouTube. Like YouTube is sending me checks every single month. I still have subscribers on Substack. I still have monetization going on in other places. This is what I'm trying to tell you is that you need to build up your moats and stop jacking around. You think 20 times is too much, but the economic climate, I mean, what else do you have to do? If you complain about money, why are you not creating content so you can solve the money problems by increasing your output? And going to platforms that are going to monetize you. YouTube is begging for content. And y'all listen right now. I'm just don't know if I need to start my YouTube channel. What are you talking about? You don't know if you need to start. Why don't you just start it? They're begging for content. YouTube is begging for content. Literally begging. Excuse the phone in the back if you hear the phone ringing in the back. I'm trying to tell you. And you're sitting right here like waiting. What are you waiting on? What the heck? And then you don't have an excuse anymore because you have AI. Like you have ChatGPT, you have Perplexity, you have Claude, you have I don't care, pick one, I don't care. Google, Gemini, you have DeepSeek, you have all these other pick and just you have social media tools. And these social media, look, and then the social media platforms have schedulers. Like TikTok Studio has a scheduling system in it. YouTube, you can schedule. YouTube just introduced I could turn lives into shorts. They will chop it up on my behalf now because the APIs they're outsourcing our APIs. I'm like, we might as well just do it ourselves, which I don't understand why they didn't do it in the first place because your lives and your content needs to be going straight to shorts anyway. Like they need to be chopping it up anyway. I don't know why they didn't think of that. That's crazy to me, but whatever. I'm glad they finally caught up to the fact that they can do that. I mean, they got quote coders and engineers because Substack chops up your stuff and will push it out for you on your behalf. LinkedIn and YouTube. So there's no excuse. All of the tools are available for you. All the tools are available because your content is going to be seen by generations to come. To come. Not just now, not just what you feel like doing, not what that you're creating generations for generations and generations to come because they're going to be binging on your content and considering if your content is relevant, you need to keep it relevant. You need to give life. Like I told people, like legacy content, give advice. If you don't know what to post, like create a channel that's talking about life advice, how to make up your bed, how to, create a calendar, how to meal prep, all these things. These babies are going to need help. Told you a long time ago, get your courses up. And like even today, one of the things we're doing this weekend, and I'm gonna give you, I don't care. I'll tell you because I don't care anyway. I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing. So, like even our courses, we have it to where we can push it out SEO. People can literally how to do this, and they're SEO. People pick it up, they can buy it from Google because that's where we're going. People are going to Google and SEO, GEO, find it on ChatGPT. That's what we're doing. We have I don't know how many courses on our back end. It's ridiculous in our member vault. People just find it online and buy the thing. I won't even know where it came from. And you don't have to have like all these sequences and stuff because people don't even want that anymore. You can just literally tell them this is your sign on. Here it is. Period. That's all people really need. Like, just tell me what to do. Tell me what to do, and here's the information. Bam, boom, there it is. So you don't have you don't have the luxury per se, and I'm being funny when I say this. You don't have the luxury to complain. Because this really is not the time to complain. So all these people you see complain online about why is this not happening? These are people that are just not innovative thinkers, and these are the people that's going to be losing their life because they're complaining more than they're creating. And you ain't that kind of time because your all of the content that you are creating right now, the courses that you're creating, like you need to just write down all the skills that you know and make a store. Put that SEO on the back end so people can find that bad boy on Google and call it a day. Just go ahead and knock it out. Because see, what you're doing right now is setting up for 2026. Because you don't know what's going to see. You don't 2026 is another ram. And I'm getting very close when I say this. 2026 is another ram in itself. This may be your last good year. So while you're sulking in bed and mad at yourself and crying every other day, and I wish I would have did this and I wish I would have did no, 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 wrong attitude. What you need to do is get your booty up and say, what all do I have? What skills do I have? Write that bad boy down, put it in ChatGPT and say, baby, I need you to create 30 courses. Just go all in. Just go all in. What video platform? You can use Loom. You can use Google. Google. I mean, not Google. What is this called? YouTube. Y'all, YouTube has somewhere you can create courses in YouTube. Canva has this where you can create courses in Canva. Everybody got a course platform now. You know why? Because a lot of these babies that are coming up are not going to have a lot of traditional education. They're not going to have the gifted and talented. They're not going to have the honors and the AP things. Like I told my daughter, enjoy this because y'all it. Y'all are it. And you know what those parents are still going to invest in those children to have a leg up because every parent has this mentality. I want my child to have something better. Well, the ones who care about performance. So entrepreneurship, all of that. How to sew, how to do hair, how to do braids. Put that stuff on those apps and put all even stuff the basic things that you'd be like, oh, that I think that's underneath me, or that should be so basic. Put it out there. You busy all until the end of the year. Like you don't have what else do you have to do? Because while the world is burning, you need to be on the yacht because you prepared. You can't you can't talk for nobody, you can't speak for nobody else. You need to build up your moats. You need to be hearing Stripe notifications, ding, 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 PayPal notification, ding, 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 ding. You need to be hearing what Square, ding, 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 ding. Whatever the ding, ding, ding is coming from, you need to be hearing it all day, every day, going forward, 2026 and beyond. Because not only are you creating content and creating products for the people in the wherever you are, but you're the world, baby, the world. And one thing I told you all about the United States that has a leg up is that we are knowledge builders. We're service oriented. We're service providers. We're service oriented. We're the entertainment hub. So you need to capitalize off of what you got tools to right now because you don't know what's coming up the pipe. And you don't want this stuff to slip. You don't want this era to slip from up under you when you really could have just optimized. So stop saying, I don't know what to do. Yes, you do know what to do. You just want feedback and you want money right now. Money is coming if you just set up your floats. Money comes anyway. Create you as a creator, as a person who is a creator, it has to come back to support you. That's law. So you can take what I'm saying and you can do whatever you want with it. But the next generations are coming and you need to create for them because they're going to be your main buyers. They got bigger spending power after. See, millennials we're calling in the crossfire. I don't know, millennials going to be in crises. I don't know, but we're literally going to be the creators of the school of life. So all this, what is this called? All this this deconstruction work that some of us are doing, this healing work that we're doing, all of these things that we're doing, we're unraveling a lot of belief systems, we're creating new belief systems. All these things are happening because we are the mediums. We're in the middle, we're the liaison from the past and the present. And these babies that are coming up, we really have a divine responsibility to leave them with things that's going to feed our bloodline, because that's how a lot of us are going to be able to be restored, economically restored by the, oh, that's a good word right there. That's a word right there. A lot of us, our restoration, our economic and financial restoration process is going to be by way of what we teach the next generations to come, because that's what's going to restore us, even into our death. Because our payback is going by way, because I'm about to run. That just hit me. It literally, the payback is I'm giving you what I didn't get. And because I care, because millennials are the bridge. So everything that you didn't get to learn from your parents and your grandparents are going to be the things that you are going to be teaching the grandchildren and great grandchildren that are to come, because digital ain't going nowhere. It may change, but it ain't going nowhere. Your job is to settle the score. This is your ministry right here. Your ministry right here is YouTube. Your ministry right here is writing. Your ministry right here is creating. Your ministry right here is recording videos. Your ministry is setting up the infrastructure. And Gen Z, the older Gen Zs, you too. You're going to be in it. You're in that same ballpark, because alphas and betas are going to come up and they're going to watch you. Everything you didn't get to learn, you get to create and put it out too. Everybody with me? So you need to get out of your feelings and get into the work. All right. I hope this video helped y'all. I hope this audio helped y'all, but we going on, and it is what it is. All right. Schedule, book a monetization session with me if you want to get knee deep and specific and customize information, customize help on your offers and your content. We're going on. Have a good day, YouTube. All right, Substack. Y'all have